Duterte. Gamitin yung what remains of the Duterte brand at tingin ko dalawa dyan ay feasible. Yung isa ay iiwan sa Davao. Hindi nila iiwanan yung bailiwick nila. Possibly ang iiwan si Pulong. Dahil wala pang national prominence si Pulong. Tingin ko yung sinabi ni Sara na si Baste ang standard bearer sa 2028 is not an empty threat. Tingin ko partly to deflect attacks from Sara, yung layunin. Pero tingin ko ay sinusubukan din nila. Si Bastiba ay magiging Digong 2.0 na mas gwapo ng hindi hamak, di ba? Imagine mo a Digong 2.0 na mas gwapo, mas attractive.
Yeah, but
No?
minus all of Digong's credentials as an
Yes,
lawyer, everything.
So, tinitingnan din nila kung tataas siya. Kung tataas siya at si Sara bababa, why not? Diba? Why not? So, ito, iba-ibang factors ito. Desperation, classic Duterte strategy na disruptive, at saka playing the field. Alam nila na playing the field, yung Duterte brand, like the Tulpo brand, ay papasok kahit sino pa. Kahit sino pa yan. No? Kahit sino pa yan. Kahit sinong Tulpo yan, kahit sinong Duterte yan, mamarka. Dahil may brand eh. Yun yung kulang dun sa traditional opposition. The branding. No? Yung branding. Kaya ipatulpo mo is a brand. No? Yung Punisher Duterte brand is a brand. Diba? Kahit yan ay nabawasan na dramatically. Nabawasan na yan dramatically, it's still there. Yeah, it's still enough to make them win sa Senate.
Yeah, I can easily see one or even two making it to the Senate, sure. Although baka hindi na makapasok si Amy. Because, I mean, medyo alanganin. Feeling ko si Amy ang hindi makapasok pag pumasok yung dalawa.
Or Francis Tolentino.
Oo, I mean, delikado yung ibang PDP laban or Duterte allies. Actually, baka sila pang matamaan kaysa yung mga iba, di ba?
Pero umalis na sila eh. Umalis na sila sa Duterte opposition eh. Sumama na sila sa administration eh. Kaya para sa Duterte administration, okay lang yon.
Well, according to your favorite Senator Robin Hood Padilla, sabi niya, maganda po yan dahil magsasama kaming lahat. Ako, si Bato, Bongo, sinabi niya, Tolentino, 3 Duterte. Ganda po yan, magagawa namin yung kailangan namin. Talagang very happy siya kanina nung nag-react siya dito sa para 7.
Duda ako kung makakasama nila yung Francis Tolentino. Tapos yung Bongo, may mga cracks na eh. Binanatan ni Baste, di ba? Binanatan ni Baste na sobrang tahimik, hindi sila dinidepensahan. Tapos si Bato naman ano sabi ni Bato, mag-guerrilla pa na lang sila. Guerrilla strategy, whatever that means.
I mean, medyo, kailangan mo medyo kung gusto mo mag-guerrilla, medyo I'm not sure makakaano na si Kuya. Pero, going back to this, Ronald, we also saw the limits of the Duterte brand. Again, I'm the last person to underestimate them. That's why we still bother to talk about them. At the same time, of course, I also believe, minsan, huwag natin masyadong seryosoin at patulan. Parang, kaya nga, ganyan lang yung tono natin. Kasi, you don't want to amplify.
Duterte 3.
Yeah. But dito sa Duterte 33, gano'n, we saw naman yung style nila, pumalpak nung 2022 elections, di ba? Itong, ay si Bongo tatakbo, ay hindi si Sara tatakbo, ay hindi si Digong mag-Senate, ay hindi si Digong si VP. Sa dulo, wala, si BBM, kinain niya yung lunch niya.
Pero noong 2022, may serious division sila eh. Talagang malalim yung away ni Sara with the father at saka kay Bongo. Talagang ni-rub niya in their faces eh, na ayaw niya sa kanila. Pero ngayon, iba na eh. Ngayon, na-unite sila out of desperation. Diba? Ngayon, na-unite sila because of an existential threat sa Duterte. Noong 2022, talagang hati sila eh. Ayaw ni BBM ayaw ni Digong kay BBM eh. Diba? Binanatan nga niya ng adik eh. Binanatan niya ng sinungaling. Binanatan niya ng weak leader before the official campaign. Ang gusto ni Digong, magsama si Bongo as vice at si Sara as president. No? Ang ginawa ni Sara, nag-file siya as mayor and eventually nag-substitute as vice president. Ginawa niya lahat yan para kontrahin yung kanyang tatay. Pero ngayon, it's a different landscape.
What you're saying is that this time they might be more disciplined and all dahil, desperation is the mother of...
Ang tingin ko, it might not work. Nag-agree ako sa iyo, it might not work. Ang sinasabi ko lang, it's a classic Duterte disruptive strategy. Diba? Ngayon, pinag-uusapan sila. Everybody is talking about them. Duterte 3. Kahit ang tingin ko, dalawa lang. Duterte 2 lang yan eh. No? Pero pinag-uusapan dahil Duterte 3 eh. Diba? Alam mo naman ang mga Pinoy. Gusto yung mga ganyang klase ng mga branding. Diba?
Yeah, I mean, let's say for the sake of argument, even if 2 or 3 Dutertes make it to the Senate, how is that going to significantly protect them from everything else that can come after?
Because they survive. Ang target nila is not manalo yung kanilang slate. Ang target nila is to survive. Dahil ang tingin nila, after surviving, after the midterms, mismo yung mga sumama sa administration slate will slowly gravitate towards them. Kung si Sara or si Baste ang mga frontliners for the 2028 presidential election. So unawain natin, ang objective nila is to survive. No? Kahit sinasabi ng paborito mong ex-human rights lawyer na sila ngayon ay game changer. Sila ngayon ang new opposition at they will defeat the administration slate. No? Malinaw naman, underneath that bravado, ang kanilang layunin is to survive. At kung titignan mo yung administration slate, walang organic na Marcos doon. Walang organic na Ilocano ron. These are parties na can shift loyalties overnight. Lalo na halimbawa yung nasyonalista, nakasama si Aimee, kasama si Cayetano, kasama si Villar. No? Ngayon, very critical sila, di ba, sa administration. Even supporting Kibuloy na gustong pabagsakin yung Marcos government. Di ba? Pero ito, sasama ito most probably sa administration slate and others like them. Dahil wala namang organic loyalist Ilocano Marcos eh. Wala na yun eh. Diba? So, after the election, inaasahan ng mga Duterte, if they survive, itong mga ito na cynical politicians will shift side kung sino ang frontliner sa 2028. Diba? Yun ang inaasahan nila.
Well,
kaya it's not to win yung slate nila, it's to survive. No?
And if they make it to 2026, 2027,
okay na sa kanila yun.
And then the
okay
title.
Na sa kanila. Huwag mong kalimutan, may ICC pa. May ICC pa.
Again, kaya nga sabi ko, being a senator doesn't give you immunity from ICC anyway.
Definitely.
And the lower
it gives you political prominence. No?
It gives you some sort of layer of protection. But also, of course, yung lower house, mukhang malabo na may chance sa mga pro-Duterte people, mukhang dudurugin sila ng administration and all of that. So, maybe in the Senate.
Definitely. Pero alam mo naman ang lower house, di ba? It will also shift loyalty overnight.
But Marcos also knows that, right? Sa tingin mo, hindi wouldn't Marcos also...
Marami dyan, PDP laban eh. Oh, alam ni Marcos, pero
yeah, I mean, hindi naman siya tanga eh.
Marcos? Wala naman talaga sila. Diba? Wala, ang pwede nila itulak si Sandro. Pero Sandro is too young for 2028. Diba? Si Speaker naman, mababa ang ratings. So, sino itutulak nila? Isang probability nila is to change the system. Pero uphill yan eh. Diba? Uphill yan. Gagawa sila ng isa pang move to change the system. Pero ang tingin ko, it will fail. Ikalawa nilang possible move is to be a kingmaker. Diba? Support a winnable candidate against the Duterte dahil yung Duterte pag nanalo will go after them eh. Diba? Will go after them eh. Kaya existential din yung threat sa kanila kung manalo ang Duterte sa 2028. So they have to do everything to prevent that. Diba?
I get the whole survive, stick around until 2026, 2027, then let all the balimbings, jump ship. Except another ship is arriving called the Tulfo ship, right? And if you're Rafi,
yes,
or any Tulfo right now, unless magkakaroon din ng tatlong Tulfo, na more probable yung tatlong Tulfo kaysa tatlong Duterte sa Senate next year. Rafi's clear leading, medyo mukhang magsisolidify pang lead niya. Bringing the Basta into equation, isn't that a bit risky in a sense that, of course, I know misogyny may be working also against Sara, but it's for all of the strengths supposedly Basta brings, he doesn't have much of a CV compared to Sara, and you're up against Rafi Tulfo is way more macho than you. So I mean, I don't know how is this.
Yes. Pero Richard, zero-sum game na sila. Diba zero-sum game na sila? Existential na yung threat sa kanila. Nakasandal na sila sa pader. Ano pang gagawin nila? Diba? Hindi pwede sila maging defensive eh. They have to go on the offensive. At yun yung ginagawa nila. It's classic Duterte. Huwag mong kalimutan, di ba? Wala namang machinery si Digong when he won. Pumasok yung machinery nung siya ay winnable na. So, ina-expect nila na pwede pang mangyari yan. Ako, duda ako. No? Ang sinasabi ko, ako duda. Pero sinasabi ko lang, dyan sila nang gagaling. That's where they are coming from. Whether that will work, duda ako. Dahil damaged goods na rin sila. No? Damaged goods na rin yung Duterte brand. But they are still relying on that brand. They are still relying on that brand.
Thank you very much for that. Last pag-usapan natin, upcoming elections in a Team China versus US one, and then idikit natin dun sa dalawang favorite mong Thunders na si Biden versus Trump, right? Ito, Thunderbird. Mga Thunderbirds, yan, pag-usapan natin. Thank you so much, Sir Ronald Llamas. Okay,
Lalo na ako, kanina pa ako 3:30
I know,
gising.
this is it. Kailangan natin matulog. Marami tayong pag-usapan mamaya. So there's an upcoming debate. Ito mga favorite Thunderbirds na si Biden versus Trump. Doon sa mga mga anti-Biden lang, please watch some of Trump's speeches. He talks about washing machine, water coming in and out, and like weird stuff too. So medyo
Tsaka yung format, pwede siyang patahimikin.
patayin.
Hindi na siya pwede mag-interrupt.
But some Democrats think na that could help Trump kasi better na marinig nila si Trump na nagkakalat kaysa yung 2 minutes. Baka he has enough strength to remain coherent for 2 minutes, but not 3 minutes.
Pero wag nilang i-underestimate si Trump, ha? Yung
no one, I think no one is.
Meron pa yan. Merong audience yan.
Merong audience talaga yan, including mga Pilipino. Ang dami mga supporters na Pilipino ni Trump. Marami ka bang
Pero nakikita natin, Richard, going to the debate, di ba? Nagbago yung since nung conviction ni Trump, medyo dumikit o baka lumamang pa si Biden doon sa popular
vote. Si Biden sa Fox News.
Popular vote. Mismo sa Fox News, no? Ang problema yung Electoral College. Ang prediction nila, dramatically lamang pa rin si Trump. Huwag natin kalimutan, hindi popular vote ang nagdi-determine ng presidente. It's the Electoral College. At sa kanilang survey, yung Electoral College, lamang pa rin si Kwan. Lamang pa rin. Ang laki ng gap, ito yata yung biggest gap between the popular vote and the Electoral College.
No? Yeah, if ever, no. So,
yeah. Kaya kailangan maunawaan
worse than Hillary.
Mga Pinoy listeners. Magkaiba yun, Magkaiba yun. Popular vote, baka lamang na si Biden after the conviction. Pero sa Electoral College, lamang pa rin si Trump.
He might lose the swing states. Tignan natin, of course, the surveys also on the swing states. Yeah. The last one, the detailed one I saw was from New York Times kung saan lamang si Trump. But let's see. At least sa Fox News, it shows that there's a little bit movement in the other direction. Anyway, I think no one will really know until the day comes kasi it's sa sobrang hati ang United States ngayon. This is gonna go down to a few counties. I don't know, in Georgia.
Yes.
I don't know, Florida is still up for grabs, but yeah, I don't know, Michigan and some of these places. And then the big question, yung mga galit kay Biden, Gaza issue.
At yung mga surveys this past 2 elections, medyo inaccurate.
Sablay na. And look at what happened in India. Umiyak literally on national TV yung isang polls.
Yes.
Sobrang yung survey nila, di ba?
Yes.
Survey nila 400 yung Team Modi.
Akala nila isi-sweep nila, di ba?
And it's the opposite.
All the surveys tell that. Pero nagkamali.
At mga Indians, magaling sa math mga yan. So don't underestimate them. Porkit mahirap silang bansa, it doesn't mean their pollsters are not good. They have legit scientists and social scientists. Yun lang, talagang mahirap na sa panahon ngayon because people are also not very honest in the pollsters anymore, right? They don't.
Oo nga. Parang
yung
poll between Hillary at saka Trump. Maraming mga voters na na-survey, ayaw nilang aminin na Trump sila. Pero pagdating ng election, bumoto sila kay Trump. Kaya hindi nag-reflect sa survey. Pero nangyari rin yun nung incumbent si Trump. Akala ng mga Republicans, isi-sweep nila yung Congress at saka yung Senate. Nagkamali sila. Diba? Nagkamali sila. Meron palang latent na distrust kay Trump doon sa mga swing voters. So, ibig sabihin, 2 elections, medyo inaccurate.
Yun nga, and of course, the big other question is yung Gen Z voters. Ang dami mga memes na Gen Z online, sobrang active, and then pag voting day, lahat tulog, di ba? Yung mga ganun. Kasi,
yes. Mahalaga yung bringing the voters sa voting place, di ba? Mahalaga yun.
And just to clarify this, usually the argument is, especially in the US, but also in European democracies, higher turnout is better for the left or Democrats versus the but
Yes.
actually in these elections, sabi nila, if you look at it, actually high turnout may help Trump more than kasi
Dahil
mas
active yung
maraming
kanyang
galit.
base.
Kasi at saka
Dahil
mas
active yung
maraming
kanyang
galit.
base.
Mas maraming
Yes.
disappointed, Ronald, because
Lalo na on the Gaza issue.
and
Even
inflation
within Democrats.
and cost of living, Ronald. Cost of living is hurting, especially Latino, African American, Gen Zs, yung mga 20-year-old, yung mga kakagraduate lang from college.
Yes.
Ang mahal. Sobrang expensive ang US ngayon. Grabe. So, cost of living.
Saka criminality is an issue sa election.
Well, actually, it is an issue in
Yeah.
elections, but the actual statistics show a more actually better situation. But yun na,
Pero
ang dami mo makita ng mga kriminal.
ang pabor kay Biden, yung reproductive health, yung abortion. Diba?
Absolutely.